detail important for understanding the essay. That's much better. C, a contrast to the lighthearted tone. No. D, nothing at all. It's irrelevant. No, we need to know what it gives us, and B is closest to why, what it tells us. Today, Luigi's battery is fully charged, period. Okay, comma. I know I can go all the way to the end of the trail and back. Now, the reason I said period, I made a mistake, is because we have a full sentence. Today, Luigi's battery is fully charged. So we can't have a comma. We all should know that at this point. 6 is wrong. F is wrong. Now we have, because of that, this means that, and then just so. And from everything I've taught you about simplicity, let's go with J. So I know I can go all the way. We've got a perfect comma and a conjunction, and we're good to go. But I always carry a cell phone on me just in case. Luigi's motor moves slowly as we venture along the trail. Which choice would most logically and effectively emphasize the positive, friendly attitude the narrator has toward Luigi? Circle positive, friendly, because that's our goal. And let's check this out. Moving slowly, is that positive and friendly? No. Anything friendly about traveling safely? Not really. Proceeding carefully? No friendliness there. Purring softly? Absolutely. If you circled the goal, you know the answer is D. I can hear the gravel quietly crunching beneath Luigi's rubber wheels. I hear the songs of cardinals in the trees and the clamor of crickets in the grasses. Okay, let's see. If we keep it consistent, I hear, then it's going to sound just like the I hear that occurs before and the I hear that occurs after. So we know we don't want to switch it to you or one, and we can't start the sentence like this. While hearing the songs of cardinals in the trees, that's going to leave us on a cliff. All right, let's go to the next one. It is September. Why on earth would we make it more cluttered with B, C, or D? We wouldn't. Leave A. The wind ruffles my hair and chills my face as I bounce gently, along in my padded chair. Now, we need to say gently, but we do not need to pause before along. I bounce gently along. It all goes together, and that's going to be H. If you had done the extra credit section, you would also know that we never have a comma before a preposition, a single comma. All right, number 11. Which choice most effectively leads into the new subject of this paragraph? The sentence says this: bicyclists streak past in a blur of color and a cloud of dust. I don't understand their hurry. Luigi can go fast, but I like to ride slowly. So bicyclist looks perfect. Sunsetting and nature in days. That doesn't make sense about going fast and riding slowly. Bicyclists make the most sense about riding slowly. So it's got to be A. And a cloud of dust. Now, the question is, do we want to put another comma there? Okay, let's check out the two full sentence rule. If we put in G, we've got a set of double commas, which you know, however, is a transition word. So we can't have a comma before that because however I don't understand their hurry is a full sentence. So G is not good enough. Remember, we need a semicolon before a transition word. We definitely need to end that first sentence. So H is the only one that gives us the period, which ends the word dust. After the word dust ends that first sentence. Okay, let's skip down to where number 13 is. I spend an hour, semicolon. No, you don't. You can't have a semicolon after that. That's not a full sentence. So we can't use that. Let's check out the double comma in B. I spend an hour and listening and learning. That doesn't work. What if we put that semicolon in C? I spend an hour looking. Let's see. I think we need to just keep talking. I spend an hour looking and listening and learning, so it's going to be D. No reason to stop the sentence. All right. And now my ride is finished for today. I leave the trail and come out in the open manicured park at the trail's end. Trail is singular. It owns its end. So trail apostrophe S. And then number 15. Suppose the writer's goal had been to write an essay illustrating the pleasure that people can take in nature. Would this essay accomplish the goal? I think we need to check the title. The title is Dragonfly. It's all about the narrator loving this nature. Let's look at yes and yes. Yes, because it focuses on a variety of wildflowers. That doesn't match. B, yes, because it focuses on the narrator's joy at having access, and that goes right along with him seeing the dragonfly. Okay. For the next section, passage 2, I'm going to tell you the rules that are involved. Number 16, the answer is G. The reason it's G is because we do not have a two full sentence for F, for H, And we can't take out that word thousands in J, and so the double comma rule comes to play. All right, if we look at number 17, we have a full sentence on the left, but not on the right. That means we need C, which is a colon. Let's do the big picture question number 18 together. The writer is concerned about the level of detail in the preceding sentence and is considering deleting the phrase, the first section of from it. If the writer were to make this deletion, the paragraph would primarily lose information that, let's put brackets around it, the first section of. If we take that out, what are we losing? G, the fact that only part of the subway had been completed. Okay, number 19 is a simple omit, delete question with redundancy, so the answer is D, because everything in A, B, and C had already been said before. Now, number 20 is a goal question. Which choice would most effectively conclude the sentence by indicating clearly how the subway system could address the problem? Now, F is great. It says it'll address the problem of traffic jams, which is in the first half of the sentence, because now they'll travel under the street. G, H, and J don't clearly tell us how they're going to do it. So remember, if you circle the goal, you'll get it right. Okay, number 21. You definitely want to read the options here. As early as 1865, there had been proposals for a New York subway, but those took decades to resolve. Now it would work if you stopped it there, but if you kept reading the sentence, the many political, financial, and technical challenges, you need it, but it took decades to resolve. So you always want to read all four choices. All right, 22 is a little confusing. A lot of people wish that there was an answer that gave a comma after his name, which would work perfectly, but they don't give us that. In G, they give us the first dash, but they don't give us the second one. In H, they don't even give us the first one. So it's got to be J. We can't use the double comma deal at all because they don't give us doubles. All right, number 23 is to know that we're talking about engineering. That would be innovative engineering. If you read all four, only C makes sense. Number 24, they give you the option to omit a deep trench, but if you omit a deep trench, you don't know what they're digging. So I think I'd leave it in. J is very tempting. G and H are just way too wordy, but you need to know what they're digging. So let's leave it in with F. Number 25, you can't use the colon because you don't have enough of a sentence there. You don't need anything, so C works. Number 26, if you know your who and whom rules, which is in the extra credit, brightly lit stations welcome the public, many of whom. The public is a singular thing, so you can't say of them. You'd have to say of whom. If you didn't get that right, don't worry about it. It's a very rarely tested concept, but you would know that with whom, you can substitute whom when you would use an M on the end of the pronoun. So them would always go with whom. They would go with who. You can't leave it out, so you can't delete it. Number 27, if you remember our transition discussion, therefore, for instance, and that is go one direction, however goes the other, so you'd know A was the answer. Big picture question number 28. The writer wishes to add a sentence that describes the magnitude and expansiveness. Which one most clearly and effectively does that? So I would circle describes and circle magnitude and expansiveness, and if I looked at it, I would know that G is the best answer. 29. Upon reviewing the essay and finding that some information has been left out, the writer composes the following sentence incorporating that information. This technique is known as open excavation. Now, if you have a lot of time on this test, you don't run out of time, you could try it in all those spots, and you could look for the spot where the sentence before talked about a technique. And if you looked at point C, which is on right around number 23, right after it says cut and cover, and then that's the technique that they're talking about open excavation. So the answer's C. But if you had to take a wild guess on that one, that would be just fine. All right, now we're going on to passage number 30. The writer wants to suggest that the art of the fresco has been in decline previous to Rivera. Now, if previously it was in decline, now what we're looking for is a word that means it's now being brought back. So in the 1920s, Mexican artist Rivera practiced the art, or how about revived? That's what revived means. Bring it back, J. 31, This is a very hard question. A lot of people miss it, but you should just practice looking at all of them and seeing which one makes the most sense. This brought art out of the elite galleries by catering to the upper class and literally to the public. So the upper class and the public are two different things. So let's try B. This brought art out of the elite galleries that cater to the upper class and literally to the public. Okay, that's a really hard question. Keep moving on. If that causes you problems, don't worry about it. Let's move on to the next one, 32. Rivera attracted for his belief controversy that the working class, that makes no sense. So you would want to read all four of these, straighten the sentence out. The one that makes the most sense is J. Rivera attracted controversy for his belief that the working class should wield more political power. All right. Number 33 is a classic delete portion. If you delete it, it makes sense. So D is the answer. As expansive than, that doesn't sound right. As expensive then, as expensive as. So the answer to 34 is H. One of his frescoes depict. Now, if you use the verb depict, you can't say one depict. You have to say many depict because each is singular, each one. Anyone, so many is the only one that would use the verb depict. Remember, just because of his frescoes separates the subject and the verb. You have to choose the right verb.